Once upon a time, in a land scorched by sun and blessed with ancient rivers, two powerful kingdoms lived across a vast desert. The kingdom of Arasha, known for its skilled archers and deep devotion to its ancient laws, and the fortress of Zareth, a walled city built with precision, technology, and unshakable belief in survival. Long ago, these lands were not enemies. In fact, during a forgotten era, traders from Arasha brought spices and poetry to Zareth, and Zareth sent tools and knowledge in return. But as the winds of time shifted and empires rose and fell, distrust grew between them like wild thorns. Generations passed, and both kingdoms saw each other not as neighbors, but as threats. Arasha's rulers began forging arrows tipped with fire, saying they must defend their faith in history. Zareth, seeing the sparks in the east, built higher walls, crafted steel shields, and whispered, "Never again shall our people be caught unprepared." What fueled their hatred wasn't just land or power, but memory, ancient betrayals, invasions, and alliances gone sour. Arasha remembered the crusaders who passed through Zareth mountains centuries ago. Zareth remembered being surrounded in wars when it was young, nearly devoured by the desert wolves. In recent years, Arasha trained shadows, secret warriors and messengers that roamed the desert, whispering revolution. Zareth struck back with thunder from the skies, precise and deadly. Every year, their conflict moved closer to the edge of open war, like two volcanoes rumbling beneath the earth. The world watched. Some kingdoms threw gold to one side, others to the other. Many whispered, "These two must burn each other before they burn us." But among the ruins of a forgotten city between Arasha and Zareth, a lone old historian wrote, "They forget the wisdom of the ancients, that the sword may defend, but it also divides, that fire may purify, but it also consumes, and that no kingdom survives forever by vengeance alone." Whether the archer of Arasha will launch the fire that darkens the sky, or the fortress of Zareth will crumble the earth beneath their foe, no one knows. But history, like the desert, remembers everything. And if they are not careful, their children will build homes only in the shadows of their hatred. In the heart of the Middle East, where deserts whisper secrets of empires lost, two ancient lands stare at each other through the smoke of history and the fire of fear. This is not just a political rivalry, it's a war of identity, of memory, between Iran and Israel, or as this tale calls them, the archer and the fortress. Long ago, before walls and weapons divided them, these lands had peace. From Persia came poetry, wisdom, and faith. And in the lands that would one day be called Israel, ancient prophets walked and temples rose. Once the people of these lands traded goods, culture, even hope. But as the centuries turned and powers rose and fell, the soul of friendship was buried under sand and scars. Then came 1967. The fortress, surrounded by enemies, fought a war that lasted only 6 days. 6 days, and the map of the Middle East was changed forever. Jerusalem was captured, Gaza, the West Bank. The world gasped, some in admiration, some in rage. The archer watching from afar grew uneasy. This was no longer a small fortress. It was now a force, a symbol of power, a warning. And then, fire came from within. In 1979, the archer's kingdom, Iran, was reborn. Not by the sword of outsiders, but by the fury of its own people. The Shah was gone. Ayatollah Khomeini had returned, and with him came the Islamic Revolution and a new doctrine: oppose the West, erase the Zionist state, lead the Muslim world. The archer now fired arrows not with bows, but with ideology, proxies, and whispers of resistance. Militant groups like Hezbollah and Hamas rose, backed with training, weapons, and belief. And from the shadows, a quiet war began. The fortress, Israel, struck back. Not with armies marching across borders, but with intelligence, air power, and silence. Scientists disappeared in the night. Nuclear facilities exploded without warning. Cyber weapons danced through Iranian systems. But still, neither side backed down. Every blow led to another. Every silence hid the ticking of the next strike. And then came the 2020s. The shadows couldn't contain the fire anymore. Missiles were launched, not just from Gaza or Lebanon, but from Iran itself. For the first time, a direct clash emerged. The fortress used its sky shield, the Iron Dome, to block the burning rain. And the archer vowed that this was just the beginning, and the world watched, frozen. Will the next missile carry warheads of silence? Will one mistake burn cities? Will old memories finally bury the living? In the ruins between them, where no side truly rules, sits a silent place. An old historian, nameless, faceless, writes with a shaking hand. They forget that the past is not a weapon. It's a warning. That fire once lit in hatred cannot be controlled. And that no kingdom, no ideology, no fortress survives forever if it builds its future on the ashes of another. And so the archer stands, drawing his string, and the fortress watches with its shield in hand, not knowing if tomorrow will be peace or just another verse in this tragic song of memory, pride, and endless war.